How's it going, YouTube? This is Skul, and welcome to episode 2 of my Pokemon TCG journey. Wow, that's really hard to say. Anyway, I've got a whole ton of awesome cards to show off today. As you can see here, I've got 3 that are in these nice, what are these called? Card protectors, I guess. And we got quite a few that are in this little baggie here. But before I show off my cards today, I want to tell you about this video's sponsor, Lapal. You've probably heard about me talking about Lapal before. They specialize in making external monitors for you to take on the go. If, for example, you're on a trip and you want to play your Nintendo Switch, then this is the perfect screen for you to use. They've recently launched 2 brand new monitors that you guys should definitely check out. A link to those is in the description. Thanks Lapal for sponsoring, and now onto the cards. Put these aside for later, and let's go ahead and talk about this goodie bag. So, this bag, you can see it's not sealed or anything. Anyway, you remember how I was saying how last month I went to a convention to try and get cards for cheap? It didn't occur to me that I could just go to my local card shop. I went to my local card shop, I asked, hey, do you have any singles from the Wizards of the Coast era? And they brought out a binder just chock full of singles. And these were the commons, uncommons, non-holo rares, that kind of stuff. The stuff that's not, not worth $50, $100, $5,000. This is the stuff that's actually really cheap. I think these ended up being about $0.25 each, like as in 25 cents. So, yeah, and they're not in perfect condition, but man, they're in great condition. I have definitely seen worse, that's for sure. As long as I've been collecting cards, I have seen and collected cards in worse condition than these. So I'll take these, and every single card in here, well, not every single card, but you'll see, most of them are from that era. So the very first one is Nidoran Female. Oh man, I remember seeing these Pokemon way back when. Can you believe, like, it used to be green? I mean, Nidoran now is, like, blue, right? Ba-ba-dee-ba-da-ba. But it used to be green, and I just always thought Nidoran, the whole line, was green, because my first introduction to seeing them in color was through the card game. And Nidoqueen is my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, so I saw Nidoran Female, I'm like, okay, getting that. Then beside it, I saw Nidorina, had to get that too, and of course, Nidoqueen, had to get that. This is actually the holo version from Jungle. This is the first holo card that I have added to my collection. Super excited about that. It actually has an attack called Boyfriends. That's so funny. Wow. Oh, man. So yeah, this is actually the very first holo that I've added to my collection. And again, not expensive whatsoever. It's not in the best condition, but, I'll take it. Just, this is the Nidoqueen card that I get to add to my collection. And oh man, I love this Jigglypuff. Just look at that. I have so many fond memories of this card from way back in the 90s. Like, look at it. It's Jigglypuff in a tree singing a song. Just not a care in the world. Isn't that just beautiful? Isn't that adorable? This right here is why I wanted to get back into collecting Pokemon cards again, because of the old art that I fell in love with 25 years ago. We got Zubat from Fossil, which I was never particularly attached to, but this was the very first Zubat card, so may as well. Rhyhorn from Jungle. I think this is actually the very first fighting type card that I got. I can't believe I'm saying that. No, that's not true. I did get a Sandslash. But yeah, it's so nice to see this. Yeah. We do have a Goldeen, which is only my second water type. I remember that. Remember last time I only ended up getting a Lapras as my only water type? Well, here's a Goldeen. Real quick, I do have to stop and start my video every 5 minutes because that's the limit my phone has on 4K 60. But, I'll try and mask the cuts as much as possible. Anyway, so after Goldeen is Magikarp, and look, it's a shiny, right? It's a shiny. It has to be a shiny. Look at that. Clearly it's a Magikarp, but it doesn't look like any Magikarp I've ever seen. Magikarp have never looked like this, never did before, never have since. Like, clearly it is a Magikarp, but there's something about the way it's designed that just makes it look wrong, like different from what it should look like, right? This is from base set, designed by Matsuhiro Arita, sorry. But yeah, there's just something about that art that looks wrong. One, I mean, the color is wrong, first of all. It should be red, but even if it was red, the design is just off somehow. I don't know, I just always remember that Magikarp looked odd. We got Eevee from Jungle. They did have the Eeveelutions, but I didn't get those. I'm not sure if I want the Eeveelutions from Jungle. Maybe I'll end up getting the Eeveelutions through, like, a set that they got a full release in or something like that. I don't know. We do have Ammonite from Fossil, my very first Fossil Pokemon. Oh man, I just remember it evolved from Mysterious Fossil way back in the day. And that's actually it for my Wizards of the Coast era stuff, because next up from this lot of cards that I got from the card shop is this full art Virizion from Noble Victories. I've always loved this card. Whenever I've thought of what card I would want to get for the Swords of Justice, at the very least, this is the one I wanted for Virizion. Just, I love the pose, I love the design. Man, just so beautiful looking, so great. This is one of the very first full arts ever made. This was only like 3 sets into when they started making them. And right about here was when they started actually making them look less like generic CGI Pokemon posed. And this is beginning to look more like, oh, that's actually real Pokemon. It looks nice, you know? So, but they had this on display. I saw it. I'm like, that's the one I want for Virizion anyway. May as well pick it up. Wasn't expensive, so yeah. And then these next 4 cards are very special to me because I saw them in just a random box that they had for like recent cards, and I was like, oh, I need these. You can guess all 4 of them: Cosmog, Cosmoem, Solgaleo, Lunala. Yeah, they got the whole line, all 4 of them. And can you guess why I wanted this one? That's right, because Lily is in all 4 of them. It's Lily and Nebby, and I know nothing about Pokemon cards from Gen 7 and on, but I know that this line has Lily in the art, and that makes me... That means that there's not going to be a single other copy of any of these cards that'll be able to top these. They're all holographic, and they were all super cheap too. Like I said, 25 cents for these too. Totally worth getting them. These are, I think, the only Gen 7 cards that I've got right now. So, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. So that's what I got from that store. And now, from stuff that I bought elsewhere. So actually, when I said those were my only Gen 7 cards, I was wrong. I ended up getting this Primarina GX. So my local retro game store sells Pokemon cards. I was there dumping some games that I couldn't sell on eBay because no one would want them. Like stuff that still had value, but I couldn't sell. Like Just Dance 2017, right? Who on eBay is looking for Just Dance 2017? But I could still trade it into the game store. While I was there, I saw that they had this on display, and I'm like, oh, that's the most beautiful Primarina card that I've ever seen. And it made me be like, you know what? I sincerely doubt that I'll see a Primarina card with more beautiful art than that. That is going to be my Primarina card. And it was like, I don't know, $2, something like that. It was not expensive. So yeah, very excited to own this. So that's a total of 5 Gen 7 Pokemon cards now. And just look at that full art card too, just absolutely gorgeous. Just wow. I mean, it's just a promo. I'm sure that it would have been easy to get when it was first released, but you know what? It's mine now. That's what matters most to me. Okay, it's time to move on to the final 2 cards that I have to show off. I got both of these off of eBay. And the first one here is this Mewtwo card. This is the Mewtwo card that I will be putting into my collection, because this is the card that I love the most. Has Mewtwo on it. Like, obviously there's cards with better art. I mean, the Mewtwo EX full art from Next Destinies comes to mind. But you know what? This is special to me because this was the pack-in card for when you bought Pokemon the first movie on VHS, when it released on VHS in the year 2000. I just remember my best friend got the movie on VHS. We opened up the clamshell, and there was a copy of this inside. And I was like, you know what? This art is what I remember the most when I think of Mewtwo art. this is the Mewtwo card I want. So I went to eBay, picked this up, and I was happy. I could totally have gotten it from like Troll and Toad or Collector's Cash for cheaper, but you know what? I forgot the sites even existed until after this came in. So, but you can be sure that in the future, maybe even next month, we'll see, I will be making a big purchase from Troll and Toad just to get some cards that are like worthless but hard to get for pennies, except for Troll and Toad. So I think you know what I mean, right? Like singles of commons and uncommons from the Ruby and Sapphire era, that kind of thing. But for now, I got this Mewtwo, super happy with that. And that leaves this very last card, which just might be my all-time favorite card now. You saw it in the thumbnail. Latios and Latios GX Secret Rare. Oh man, just look at that. Of course, I've loved Latios since Pokemon Heroes came out. Latios was my favorite Pokemon of all time for a decade until Helioptile was announced in 2013. I still love Latios, still my second favorite Pokemon. I saw this art and I needed to own the card. That's why I was at the retro game store selling games when I got that. It's because I was selling games to make money to buy this card. I won't lie, I paid $200 for this. By far the most I've ever spent on any card. I don't know if I even spent $100 on a card before now. I sincerely doubt I'll ever spend $200 again on a card, but it was just so worth it. I love the art. There's just something about it that's just so beautiful. Of course, Latios making a heart, but the lighting on it, you'd see like they actually are smiling if you zoom in enough. I really don't know why it's a $200 card. I mean, I know cards in general are getting more expensive just because there's more rares, which means they're harder to pull. I don't know if this is like a competitive card or if people just like the design as much as I do, but this is my favorite card. This is not going into my Pokédex binder. Okay, so this does not count for either my Latios or Latios card. This is going on display in the center of my room. I have a little display right now where I have some of my favorite cards of all time. I've got like my Latios Gold Star, which up until now is my favorite card of all time. I've got a full art Latios and Latios. I've got 2 jumbo cards from Pokemon movies. I've got copies of Ash's Pikachu from when we saw I Choose You in theaters. You know, it's where I put my cards that meant so much to me that I never got rid of them. This is definitely going to the center of that because this is my brand new favorite card, and it's going to take a lot for a card to surpass this for my favorites. So I'm rambling. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, look at that. That's just so beautiful. I'm so happy to own this now. Super expensive, but worth it. So that is episode 2 of my Pokemon TCG journeys. So, I mean, duh, my favorite card that I picked up was definitely this Latios and Latios. But you know what? This Mewtwo means a lot to me as well. And yeah, I'm super excited to have gotten these. Looking forward to seeing what I get next month. Thanks once again to Lapal for sponsoring this video. Thanks everyone for watching. I am very much enjoying this brand new Pokemon journey that I am taking. And I'm looking forward to seeing what I get in the near future.